Today we'll deal with the percent proportion. Now, I know percents may seem weird and just something funny math people made up, but they are super important in business, in sports statistics, and lots of other statistics around the country. Not just about sports, but also about kinds of food people eat, who they vote for, all those kinds of things. So this is a very important lesson. So first of all, just so you know, the word percent means per 100. Think about it, 100 cents makes $1. A century is 100 years. So percent means per 100. So a percent is a ratio that compares a number to 100. To write a percent as a fraction, express the ratio as a fraction with the denominator of 100. And then after that, reduce it if possible. So first we'll express each of these as a fraction. 79 over 100. So I think, okay, is there anything that goes evenly into both 79 and 100? There's not. So we're finished right there. B, 107%, so we put 107 over 100. Now, nothing goes evenly into both of those, but you are allowed to leave it as an improper fraction. But if you want to change it to a mixed number, you can say 100 goes into 107 one time with 7 left over. So either of those answers would be fine. Now, one thing I want to point out, you may be like, wait, you can't be over 107%. When you're using percents to describe a whole, like you're saying 40% of the class made an A, or 10% of the class is left-handed. When using percents in that way, you're right. We can't have over 100. I can't have more than 100% of my class. But when we're talking about how things grow, it can be over 100%. Like housing prices could more than double. Because if they go up 100%, that means they've doubled because there's 100% more of their price. But over time, they may do more than double. Same is true for sales. Sometimes certain foods or certain toys are very hot and they sell a lot of them all of a sudden. Sales just skyrocket. That can be over 100%. Okay, last one, 0.5%. So we do 0.5 over 100. Now, we're not allowed to leave a decimal inside of a fraction. So there's two ways you can view this. One is we don't want a decimal, so we'll move this decimal over 1. Now that's okay as long as we do whatever we did on the top also to the bottom to change this to 5 over 1,000. We can then reduce that. They're both divisible by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1,000 divided by 5 is 200. Now another way we can think about that, if that shifting the decimal seems weird, you get the exact same answer if you think, okay, it was 0.5 over 100, but I can't have a decimal. So I can multiply the top by 10, and then the decimal would disappear, because 10 times 0.5 is 5. 10 times 100 is 1,000. So you can see how it gets the same thing there. So then after we reduce it, we'd also get 1 over 200. Okay, now we'll also be doing these kind of problems where we'll say something like 40% of 30 is what number? Or what number is 30% of 40? Things like that. Is 40% of 30. This is the key to remember for these kind of problems. If you can remember this, that's what I want, pattern, is over of equals percent over 100. So first of all, I see 40%. So I know I have an equal sign. I know I have two fractions. This one's always 100. So it tells me to put the percent they give me above the 100. So I put 40 above the 100. Then it says of 30. So of, the bottom of this fraction, has to be 30. Now is what number? We don't know what the is. So we put a variable right there for the is spot. Now when you have two fractions set equal to each other, this is called a proportion. And to solve a proportion, once you've set it up, there's just two more steps. You cross multiply 100 times x equals 40 times 30. Then you divide both sides by the coefficient in front of x. So you get x equals 12. So 12 is 40% of 30. Okay, now example 3 has the exact same setup. We'll look at different setups on the back of the page. But remember, is over of equals percent over 100. So 24%, that's the percent I put over 100. Of 25, so 25 goes in the bottom, is what number? We don't know the is. So we cross multiply, get 100 times x. 24 times 5 is 600. So then we divide both sides by 100, and we get x equals 6. So 6 is 24% of 25. Okay, on the back. If 42 out of 70 students said their family had a pet, what percentage had a pet? Okay. Now, honestly, on this problem, I did this on purpose, it's not super clear where 42 goes. So let's look at the rest and see if we can figure out where 42 would go. We know 100 always goes here, so that's fine. This says of 70, so the of goes down here. And then what it's asking us to find is the percentage. So we know this is what we're trying to find, the thing above the 100. So that means 42 must be our is in this case. So we cross multiply. 70 times x equals 4,200. Then we divide both sides by 70. And we get x equals 60%. And you should put a percent sign with that one because the question this time is asking for a percent. Okay, last one. 12 is, so I'll pause right there. I'll put 12 in the is spot. 75%, so that goes in the percent spot. Of what number? So we don't know of, so I put an x there. We do 75 times x equals 12 times 100. And then we divide both sides by 75. And you can certainly use your calculator to help you. 1200 divided by 75 equals 16. So 12 is 75% of 16.